Good day, everyone. So today I'd like to talk about a book that has been making waves in the literature world, Sapiens. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this name of books. By the author that is Yuval Noah Harari. It is a fascinating exploration of the history of humankind, from the emerge of Homo sapiens in Africa to the present day. The book covers a wide range of topics, including the evolution of humans, the development of agriculture and civilization, also the rise of religions and empires, and the impact of science and technology on society. Harari argues that our success as a species can be attributed to our ability to create, share, mix, and cooperate in large groups, enabling us to build complex societies and dominate the planet. But Sapiens is not just a retrospective analysis. It also raises important ethical questions about the future of humanity, including the potential impact of artificial intelligence and technology. Harari challenged us to reflect on the consequences of these advancements and urged us to contemplate their impact on the future. Through his masterful storytelling and thought-provoking analysis, Harari provides us with a unique perspective on our past, present, and future. He compels us to confront our origins, understand our achievements, and confront the ethical dilemmas that lie ahead. So, I'm gonna give you a brief summary on 20 chapters of the books. In the first chapter, Professor Harari used the Big Bang Theory. According to him, approximately 13.5 million years ago, space, time, energy, and matter began to exist. The coming into being of these phenomena laid the basis of development of essential features in the universe. It was coming into being of these phenomena that gave rise to physics. In the next chapter, the focus is on the difference in knowledge of brains between other human species. And the next chapter informs the transition of sapiens of being hunter-gatherers to farmers. To me, this chapter is the most revealing for me. And moving to the fourth chapter, according to Harari, the sea barrier prevented not just humans, but also many other Afro-Asian animals and plants from the searching of this outer world. You can also tell that this chapter is about the sea barrier. And moving to the next chapter, it indicates that 2.5 million years ago, humans gathered plants and hunt animals to feed themselves. But most notable in the chapter is that the political dynamics, the religious beliefs, and the society structure of Homo sapiens is significantly changed. And moving to the sixth chapter, the previous chapter has discussed the beginning of agriculture revolution, right? So in this chapter, which some opinion leaders set the world to absolutely ruin. And the next chapter generally looks into the memory system of human beings. Professor Harari in this chapter was interested in understanding the storage of information in the past. For the 8th chapter, Professor Harari is investigating how mankind organize themselves in what he describes as mass corporation networks. And the next chapter is also talk about the post-agricultural revolution period. The human societies became more complex. Also, these societies became larger, and the imagined order became clearer. Culture bound strangers together, and they had no any other option but to cooperate. This made the first footstep of the human societies became more complex. And in the center of the books is the chapter 10. Generally, the chapter discusses the history of currency. It's about the money. Trade was happening, and it was barter trade. But later, gold and silver were also introduced. Moving to the 11th chapter, in this argument, Professor Harari believes that there is no justice in history. It is from what belief that the imperial visions were pursued by some empires to undermine others. And the 12th chapter discussed the religions and the beliefs that religions like Islam had their sacred places, such as Mecca. Also, in the history of religion, Buddhism and Islam are the best known. In the 13th chapter, it claims that the universal religions, empires, and commerce brought the world together, and that is why today the world is global. It's quite impressive, isn't it? And to the 14th chapter, it simply discussed that the human beings had made numerous inventions and innovations, but there was 99.99% ignorance about organism and earth. Basically, the discovery of ignorance laid the basis for the scientist revolution, as man started working towards discovering those things they have never observed or felt before. I find this chapter really interesting to read. And next chapter is chapter 15. In a nutshell, this chapter looks into how supernation countries use science to stamp their control on the earth. And moving forward is the chapter 16. It discusses capitalism and notes that the adoption of money was believed to facilitate construction of buildings and empires, which is quite right. And in chapter 17, the chapter wholesomely discussed the rise of industries. In the previous chapter, business people were making money from their business and could bank their profit. But this chapter alludes that the profit will plunge back into businesses. Yeah, it's about the finance. It's really interesting. In chapter 19, this chapter debatable in the sense that it raised the question whether people are happy and consented due to agricultural, scientific, and industrial revolution that happened. This chapter I recommend it to everybody I know because it's very debatable. It's raised another concern in our thoughts. It's whether to be happy or not. Well, I'm making videos. In the last chapter, it says that introduction of biological engineering, innovations, and intentions have enabled humankind to transcend some of the limitations or boundaries that were put to them naturally by natural selection. Yeah, it's a really hard topic to understand. My favorite part is still the upper of the books. The rest is, I find it too difficult to understand, but it's really interesting thoughts. It raises a thinking in our own. This book generally, it's been a really great book. People should pay attention to it and start reading it as soon as they can. Yep, that is my presentation. No, I mean the summarize for the book. Thank you for listening.